I hope you are well. We meet again for this new video of nuggets that will explode right away. First, the narrative in which I am going to talk to you currently is lending. It is all that is going to be decentralized borrowing. I think we are arriving at a phase of the market where we have a lot of money coming in. Here, we can see the impression of stablecoin, which is, clearly, it shows live the money coming into the market. We were at the beginning of November, end of October at around 155 billion stablecoins, Tether and USDC. Currently, we are at 171 billion. That means that there is a lot of money coming into the market. And that is what can pump the altcoins. All summer, there was a bit of a lull. Where we had printed a little bit, the market was setting bottoms, and now we see that it is exploding again, so that's when everything is accelerating, and that's why everything is accelerating right now, because money is coming in massively. And these institutions that are entering the market will perhaps also need to borrow funds, etc., to put up collateral to be able to try to make more money, because there are institutions, investment funds that do that, and that's what leads me to think that people will also try to take more risks, because the higher it goes, the more people want to get rich, and the more they want to get rich quickly, which means that people are turning quickly, either to derivative contracts, leverage, for example on exchanges like Bitgate, etc. Either they want to borrow in a decentralized way, so it goes through a project like ETHFI, which is a project that allows you to do that, and in addition to doing what we call restacking, so you can reblock your funds to be able to regenerate yield behind, and so I think that's a new narrative that will in ETHFI is very correlated to Ethereum. From my point of view, Ethereum has not finished performing, has not started to perform at all. So when Ethereum wakes up and people want to take even more risks, it could automatically trigger a narrative on ETHFI and the other cryptocurrency that I will tell you about later. But here I start with ETHFI. So graphically, for me it is clearly in the process of setting a bottom. Bottom, what does that mean? It basically means a market bottom. The price will probably not go lower than that. We can see that we have been lateralizing here since August. And there, we are getting the signal, we are getting the breakout, we are getting the signal to break out of this big range here that will signal a price rise. What we would like to see is that the price breaks here, that it closes above and that we do not re-enter. That way, we will have everything we need to re-accelerate. These are structures that I have seen since 2016 on the market, they work really well. In each cycle, they work almost 7 times, 8 times out of 10. When we are in a bull run, they work almost all the time. So there is really a big signal, we are giving a big bullish signal here. So that is super interesting. Also, what we are going to look at is the tokenomics, and it is also the market cap. Are we on a market cap that is high? Is it low? Does it have potential? We'll try to see all that. So already, in terms of market cap, we are around 355 million, so it's still super low on ETHFI, it's a small project. And when we look at the release of the tokens, we see that there is no release until March 2025. We had a first release here in June 2024 which has already been priced. I had noted it here, there was a dump, so the tokens were released, the guys sold them, it lowered the price. But then, they stopped selling, they have nothing left to sell in fact. And the next unlock will be in March 2025. And even this unlock, it is not super high. What I mean is that, after that we still have until April, so we will have an unlock here where it will unlock 30 million tokens, it's not necessarily huge honestly to be honest. After in April we will have another unlock of about 40 million, 37 million tokens, something like that. So we know that until May we are calm. So in March it starts to unlock tokens again, but until May there is plenty to do. If you saw my video yesterday, I was explaining to you that the season could last until March, April, or even May 2025. The first phase is very bullish, then we will see if there is a second phase. So we have time, we know that the next lock is at the end of March. So there, we have no token dilution. That is a great thing. Now, what I mean is that in the long term, we do not invest long term in this, guys. Why? Because tokenomics is not good in the long term. The bull run, I say it all the time, is 3 to 6 months of increase. After that, it's 4 years where nothing happens, where the market just dumps. Very generally, 3 to 6 months of increase, or even a year at the most with breaks, etc. But the big part of the bull run lasts 3 to 6 months. It's very short, it's very fast, it's very intense. That's why here, we can afford to speculate. It's not long-term investment, because that, In a bear market, I'm telling you straight, it's going to get destroyed. If you don't know how to take your profits. That's going to get blown up. In a bear market, there's a good chance that it'll go lower than below the current price. So, basically, I'll spoil you a little bit of what can happen. We put a bottom, it accelerates. The tokens are released, and then, in the bear market, that will get smashed. The goal is precisely to take money on the bull run phase and sell before the bear market arrives. Or even if we are in the middle of a bear market, it will be to sell anyway in the bear market, just to take our profits. So that is important. Really, it is not a long-term investment. Don't tell yourself, I buy in 2024, I will sell it in 2030. No, it is really for this specific cycle. As I said, from a technical point of view, very nice structure. Unlock for example in March 2025. The bull run that could last until maybe March, or even May 2025, so we're on target, since after that there are unlocks once every 30 days, so it will then be May 24th, something like that, and then it will be April 24th, it will be around that date that the unlocks will start to arrive, so we have time. Now from a technical point of view, so we are at 300 million market cap, it's still quite low. I think that at some point Ethereum will perform, which will pull ETHFI, and I also think that the rice stacking narrative, because it's the rice stacking narrative that will happen. And that, in fact, is rice stacking. It's even more risky than basic stacking, but since we're in a market of genes a little, where people like to take more and more risks, well, this moment for me, it's a narrative, precisely, which will take shape at a given moment, as I explained at the beginning of the video. So, from a technical point of view, then, quite quickly, we're going to take the highest that was found here. I'm not taking this wick in that it was the listing price, I'm really taking something realistic, and I'm going to go to daily itself, to tell myself, okay, no, it's fine, okay, no, we can take the highest, there's no problem, it's just that in weekly, it didn't look good. So already, with this bullish structure, here, which is forming, if we manage to close above this level, we will be able to possibly trigger a retracement in the idea, it will be 38.2. So it will be at the level of $3.98, we are currently at $2, so it is almost 1x2, okay. So here, that will be our first objective, about 114%, well it is a little more, I take the point of sure case, but at the current price, about 97%. What the market very generally does is a retracement by half. It gives back half of what it has worked by half. That is to say that basically, we will retrace half of all this bearish movement. Here, it would be around $4.98. For me, already, there are big chances, big probabilities, that doesn't mean that it will necessarily happen, but that we will probably return to around $4.80 at $4. So that's already a capital gain of 97 to 140%, but that's very conservative. Because those were targets where the market didn't do anything on them. From March 2024, the market didn't do anything anymore, so this was its peak here. If we restart a bull run, personally I think we'll make new highs, very likely. So you note these levels here where the market turned around previously, we can see it, $5, so that corresponds to the 0.5. Here we can see that there is a small bearish imbalance around $4.20, so that corresponds well to the average target that I gave you here. I'm going to give you the objectives of this bullish structure as well, so they're not going to be very high, I think we'll go much higher than that personally, but likewise, we'll have this $5 to $6 zone, so personally I think that the $5 to $6, we'll come and get them at some point. Here we have what we call a bite-side liquidity, it's a delivery zone for the price, the market will most likely come if we keep a bullish flow in my humble opinion. Also what we would like to see on ETHFI, there it's a little more complex, but there we would like to see a breaker, AA breaker, what is it? It's simply here, I'm not going to go into details, it's going to be too complicated, but it would be to settle above this level here. And there, it will give an acceleration movement. That is to say that don't be surprised if the price is consolidated. If there is a correction, let's come back and look for near the lows. So at that point, we shouldn't panic, it's completely normal, it's a correction on the market. But then, since the bull run is not over, most likely, when we reach this zone, you'll see that the price will accelerate quite quickly. So the goal is to position yourself before the break of this level, because after the break of this level it will really accelerate. So that's perfect, That's why I'm showing you the video now. Then, objective, short reload zone close to the previous highs. And there I invite you to note this level, the $6.75 zone and the candle body, which will here position itself around $6.50. So that will be a profit taking to do. The objective, I remind you, is to sell on the rise. So there, we will have what is called the short reload zone. This will be an area in which we can form a top if we don't go higher. Well, I'd be surprised if we didn't go higher, honestly. And then, we're going to start with extension objectives. Here, that is to say, we're going to take the highest point here and we're going to see in the event of an ATH what the objective to reach would be. And we see that quite quickly, an extension zone will be between $13.38 and $16. That means that right now, we're trading at around. The extension objective here would be between $13.30 and $16.20. So there, we would be on average 1x7 to 1x8, well almost 1x9, which is really not bad. Now, we can go higher than that. It's just that mathematically, for now, I can only have these objectives. I can't find any other targets to give you at the moment. I'll do a video again at that time, but all you see here are profit zones. That is to say, for example, here, I take profits around $38.20. I also take profits around $5.40 because that's an interesting zone. I also take profits at $6.80. I also take profits at the ATH at $8.73. I also take profits at $1.272 at $10.70. I also take profits at $13.30 and I also take profits at $16. In fact, that's how you're going to put your profits. And then, if Truefi ever does that, it goes up, it goes up, it goes up, and then it files all your orders, you will have already made a good profit. Second possibility is simply to look at how the price dynamics will build. In weekly, and it will be for example. So, I'm going to draw this on the right, because we don't see much of it anymore. It will be to wait for the market to make an ascending trough to move your stop here. The market breaks a new high, you put your new stop at the new trough. These are troughs that are supposed to be maintained. For example, if the price does this, don't put your stop here, because the market will leave too many stops. The market could do that before going back up. It really has to be troughs fast enough that don't leave too many stops behind them, so that you can put your stop, which in theory, it can be a protected stop. Okay, so we don't do it there. On the other hand, the market does that. Yes, we can put our stop here, okay, etc., until at some point the price no longer respects this dynamic. You put your stop in there is the break. You exit in there is a good chance that the market is turning around. In this structure here, it would allow you to exit before the bear market arrives. Now also, be careful, add time. You know that generally, the bull run ends in the spring. Between March and May, that's often when the bull run ends, at least the big bullish phase. Right now, it's November, so there's still time. And also, don't forget that we have big unlocks. We have unlocks, so in fact, tokens are going to be released, which can be sold. For those who don't know what that means, basically, it means here that on the ETHFI side, there are investors who invested before the project was released. And in fact, they were able to buy at, the prices are not communicated here. It wasn't communicated, but it was probably much lower than what we have now. So that, you have to understand it, you have to know it. So, that's what makes you have the objective of selling already between March and May. And then, you have the objectives between now and then. So for example, let's imagine that in February, we are already at the top. It is to say that we can add objectives by March, April, May, to give you an idea. But be careful, March, April, May, it is really your exit door. So as I say, it is really not a long-term investment, it is over a period of 3 to 4 months. And finally, I am talking to you about Truefi, which is in a very similar narrative. Truefi, which is starting to have a very good graph, and personally, I think that here, we are clearly setting a bottom. I will explain why. First, we had a big accumulation here, which gave a bullish acceleration. So what we do is we draw our Fibonacci from the lowest to the highest, and you will see that the price, as if by chance, stops where? Reload zone, and the price consolidates. The professionals, here, the institutions, well, I don't think we can talk about institutions on Truefi, but the whales of Truefi, they are clearly reloading their position and accumulating in this area. Clearly, it can be seen here. Also, we can see that recently, before the election result, we had a stop taking. The lowest point, which had been found on August 5th, was chased but did not give life to a bearish continuation. So here we know that there are big fish that have positioned themselves here, and I see it on this candle because it is very impulsive and there is a lot of volume. Here on this impulse there is a lot of volume. The big guys here, they bought a lot in their doorbook, they bought a big part of their doorbook, everything they could buy they bought. This is what creates what is called a displacement, and there is also what is called a breaker here. This is exactly what I showed you just before on ETHFI, what we would like. What is actually happening. And here, suddenly, on Truefi, you have a breaker that is perfectly maintained here. Firstly, also, the market leaves behind what is called imbalance in this whole area and it has been filled. So here, what is done, it is exceptional. You have a breaker, you have the break of the last major descending peak which shows us that the price structure has reversed. Also, we are in a long-term reload zone and we were in a range and we came to take the stops at the bottom of the range first. And there, in fact, this is what indicates that there is a good chance of breaking the top of the range, of settling above this area and relaunch something like that. Fairly quickly, Truefi should come back to visit this price area. Here, this is what we call an imbalance. This is an area that the market will most likely rework for market-making conditions. Here, it is between 16 cents and 17 cents. We are currently at 10 cents. So already, this is an incredible performance. Around 60 to 70%. Here, it is really not bad. Also, we see at the level of the price structure, what will soon form, it is AW bottom in AW bottom. There, you cannot do more bullish than that. These are bullish structures. When your market does this, like here, it is bearish, what we call M. On the other hand, when your market starts to structure W, like this, here, in W, there is clearly a bottom that is being established. This is an accumulation structure. And here, we have a trace. There is a trace, here. The fact of taking the stops, therefore of making people capitulate and of having a big gap, this is a trace of big fish who entered Truefi, who bought massively. So I don't have the volume data, although if we see that there is a big return of volume here, there are hundreds of millions, 200 million Truefi that were exchanged, there are 20 millions, $30 million daily that were exchanged here. It is quite significant in view of the volume history. There was a low period and there the big ones came back. Also, if we look at our volatility indicator, it is telling us that it is time to position ourselves since October 14th. He told us that it was time to position ourselves since August 2022. He told us that for a very long time. Here, he told us, be careful, it's a little late on a weekly scale. You look at the daily, we should have been in the red here. Exactly, we were in the red, not a good time to invest. There, we are back in the green in the daily, we are back in the green in the weekly. The indicator is saying that it is a good time to position ourselves here, given the structure that we are forming in addition to that. Now, what would the objectives be? As I was telling you, here, the first objective is the imbalance zone that I showed you, and we can see that in the weekly, it is quite wide. Here, we have in the weekly and in the daily, it is between 14 to 17 cents. That will be the zone that we will have to watch. This could be a zone that pushes us back, and unfortunately, we won't perform, but I don't believe it very much. I think Truefi will break this zone, and when it has broken this zone, quite quickly, its objective will be to go for the 2024 peak, here. So above 24 cents. So already, here, the objective in 2025 is to go for at least 24 cents, it's 1 times 2.5, it's really not bad. Then, the objective will also be to retrace the 38.2, here at 42 cents. That will also be a new objective for the price. So here, we are currently at 9 cents, we could go up to 42 cents, so we're already doing 1 time 4. Then, the objective, a half retracement here around 54 cents. Then, if ever we have a big retracement and a big push, because there in fact we will have a big bullish structure here, I will give you the objectives of this bullish structure just after. But before we still see the retracement objectives, and suddenly the objective would be to come to the short reload zone. It is very often here that the price comes to park and that we find big sellers so that they take profits. And there, I see quite quickly that it would be at the level of these big wicks. You see, previously, there were quite strong rejections here, where there are big fish in the past who sold. When you see wicks like that, it is big ones who sold massively here. They will probably do it again. They will probably take profits again here. And there, the last candle body, it is there. That is to say that there, we have a very important zone here on Truefi, around 65 cents at the entrance to the short reloading area, so that's profits, so profit taking, small profit taking here, in the 15 to 16 cents. Second profit taking at 24. Third profit taking here at 42. And fourth profit taking here at 66 cents. And there, you take a lot of profit. Then, if ever the market manages to make a new ATH, you have a new profit taking in the event of an ATH above $1.05. I don't know if we'll come back to that. That, we'll have to look at. In terms of capitalization, it's changed a lot because Truefi, there was a lot of unlocking during his bear market. But that's good news. All the unlocking is over. So, we won't have a new token dilution. And so, we're going to look at Truefi, what is our market cap? Here, we'll see if a new ATH seems realistic to us or not. Currently, we have a capitalization of around 120 million, which is very low. It's very low, and if we make a new ATH, we would therefore have a capitalization that would be a little more than 1 times 10, we would be around 1.3 billion. Frankly, it's nothing, it's a market cap that is small. It really has the potential to reach this kind of market cap. Afterwards, I don't know if it will be the case, but eventually, we could do it. Also, the exit objective of this big bullish structure, if it forms, the big W like that, it would be 44 cents, so we saw that we had set an objective. 3.14, we already have a profit objective slightly before. And then, between 5.08 and 6.28, between 1.11 and 1.38. So these are objectives that can possibly be achieved. We are only in November and time will tell. Remember, between March and May, we will probably be in the end of the bull run, in the end of the all season, the first aggressive phase of the rise of this market. Between March and May, that is to say that if, in April, for example, we are here, be very careful, start preparing your exit door because we will possibly be in the last phase where the market can perform. I remind you, we have time, we are right there. The phase will be between March and May. If between March and May, we are close to the ATH, the same, be very careful, we know that we will be close to a top. So at that time, you have to have taken profits, you must not be the one who has taken nothing, because the reversal can happen quite quickly. Example here, reversals happen very quickly, so that, you have to be extremely careful. And if it ever goes into big rallies, etc., I'll show you the extension objectives, I'll show them to you, but don't really take it at face value. It would be between $1.68 and $2.07 here, but hey, at that point we'll see if the price has the potential to reach all of these objectives. I'll do an update, at that level if ever there's a need. I'll stop here for today, I hope you enjoyed it. If that's the case, guys, bombard the blue thumbs, put the comments, really, I'm trying to find you the best opportunities right now. As soon as I have charts that are nice, I'll make videos for you. There, frankly, Truefi, for me, it's super interesting here, given what's been done. So really, bombard the blue thumbs, I thank you very much.